you free muda.
That's a privilege.
And I'm money ajuma wo ye no.
That's Munso. Ne so far things movement ne ko. Utie research na e ba na form na. I won't say e don wo ho. Because options no more painti. Amount the number. Aye. I'm sure someone so TB. Say then uncle for can was say hono.
The uncle for can say Nkomienu for over 30 years. Oma dominated your politics or Ghana, NDC ni MPP. 16 years, Ubiabe 16 years. Sa parties me no. Omu nyina omu ko omu wie no. Omu de ko IMF. NDC after 60 years, they landed Ghana with the IMF. MPP so after 60 years, almost Alan Diaz with IMF. Now also Einstein, Eka Bibi say we Bibi now cost you the same way. You cannot expect a different result.
Right.
And they say, Musha, next Ghana for the Einstein Kashen say, Motuaba over the last 32 years. I'm a MPP ni NDC. The same thing I'm way. You also elandum in a certain way. And se once sa monsa, and now once se moi, you end up in the same way. And she says in Ghana we are at a crossroads. So we share the economy, say the crisis in the economy. The Mr. Ghana Funya and say, my fine politics.
Okay.
If you are not there, you will say, we okay. But the economy cut down to a certain point. If you are okay now, also we know. Ebedu baby na ukra no say ususo ahochire about so ti the mekan say na nke yen try one more da nke different.
Okay,
na try say hu say mienu ni na no enkoye na say yan hwe ni ansesem ni amfo bi foforo amba na edru baby na etra de tro a na wana yeko akoko blame no ti a very critical point as you say Ghana ye kodu no 2022 inflation was 54%. 54%. Say I say no enka enya alam kran dey say me boss idea with the because wa wo hwe wasetere mu a na otu say no man koye. And we say obi catch also the economy has started recovering now. So we call IMF program and now restrictions are you put on you no tino. Definitely we say ya chichire won sa and we will say afi marginal improvements be ba. But and non say you are out of trouble. Say no. You 2024 budget. Literally nothing is going to happen.
The BNC budget.
So, in terms of capital expenditure, I say they are suspending almost all projects. Ashanti region, I say, all major projects. If you say government, they say we need the flexibility with IMF program, obey me akoso. ISR projects. If you say your debt situation now you come no for IMF say on conditions on the mayen your debt to GDP and no na ana ye de carry say the extent of what bobusia akwa kudu no e kwan be na obefa so atua no mo say kabusia body enkenye problem o na embom no ubobusia do a certain point now we need the capacity to pay. Now it's just debt is sustainable. As America mean home but I just said their capacity to pay their debt. And I still only problem.
I just say you cannot yet know. A
drew stage in here who say we are not in a position to pay. Also, when any program say to amortize. Yes. Sana says and the debt to GDP ratio as high as 105%.
Wow.
105% debt to GDP ratio. And the condition for IMF so almost reduce debt from debt to GDP from 105% to 55%.
And I say
from 105% debt to GDP to 55%. And it say your mouse our condition say one for failure first cannot ma. Now HSA say one will say your economy is grinding to a halt.
Right.
Anna say after IMF you said that say program year after IMF a bit me ama yet me economy na recover. I don't think say but the Mr. Ghana for and say situation were very serious. Ma yem fine politics. Until I made a movement, they tear me free moment because say what I say I didn't know enkoye. And I said me banam because say MPP just even if Krasa me were MPP na ubaya Ukraine. It is time for Ghana to harness and mobilize your collective talents. Say Ghana. Na say onye frontline politician. Na ukra na ubetimi wa bimpa ubetimi adwuma na enya de ebefro.
That's true.
It is the best talent in Ghana no. Because so many politics ye chichira ban na say ye monka. But eno nye sustainable. Ye betimi atena say akoso sa. Say bia wo enana. Say adwuma bi ona ye nim say Ghana ha pa wo pa na obetimi adwuma na. Na unshare dan yi wanim say me MPP na me NDC nya. Yemfa wo mba abamuda. Na mka say eno de ye koso ye sa enye adwuma. Enti sa de azeze no. Yempe obi a ode nkabuma ban ebeba. Government of National Unity and I say union government. Said ye be ya yemfa party nsem no to nchen. Na yempe obi a ye electing on the basis of his own merit. Na say ukoyi president because of party a sebi o joining tia. Na zo bet ma adwuma no. Say o say ye pobia mo adwuma. Na nipa no ukoyi no because o MPP and now NDC ni. Ano na manage obetuma adwuma no. Abi anti ano ni one of the pillars are movement for change. Ye gina so ye can say let us work together. Yemfa Ghana obia o you feel say owo enimde obetuma adwuma. Yemma sa nipa no mom na nya adwuma.
Nti say senyame ya domna 2025 yesu in as the president. Yes. So NDC no betimi adwuma befa no.
Yes, that's how it should be.
Obi a woni limelight obefa no.
No onye politics cross no on the beti adwuma na. I say ye de adwuma. Or abrochire kra na wo nim de or ye yina. Still I say na say na say the make ide nka basic common sense. E won say menkasa na menka wo ma ya tra ban mu na won say ufri bi mu a wo tra se na wo dwene wan na wo say o da bi. Say yes science. Na say nyame adom na Ghana for pejame. Na made in Kabuma by government of national unity ba. Parties are will be wom sabi businessmen omu ewo sa capacity de wom asofo omu na asofo we share the way omu timi organize omu churches na politicians men na eche omu. So we share we call omu temples in the way which I say politicians men eche omu. So what I say nti yes say yen ahimfo ibi wo ho sa no mani ya nti one of the pillars of movement for change say a constitutional reform. No ma bebre nkoye in our constitution. Men can see inside the whole constitution, but just say be constitutional reform. Someone says DC is yes ye elect to one na ye kaya ankosi baby, and you say it is still hanging. So one would imagine. And now there are some major provisions in the constitution. And also so I say and say obia the politics don't change. Now we tie the entire movement for change in the buy. Any vision, any ministry idea who me say me de ato Ghana for anymore. Now the politics to change. I'm going to say Alan is the right person. Yes.
Now no Okoye National Economic Summit. To say the Osha say no. Utu one among say we the NDC and MPP ni movement for change asem. Ghana fu nyina mra na yendwene. It didn't know yes sir.
Sir me cheche nkofo anu Ghana for anu a. Omo pe ene say yenka ye humbom ne ento ato adwene na yemfa solve problems na say Ghana ye wumu no. Say I was say ye kwando say ene utie radio is bibia ne aye no NDC MPP bibia ne NDC MPP enti yenka adwene mbom emfa nye hwe wo Ghana say eno nti na media Ghana fo so amuso no say yenchiche mu no aye too much enti yenyina ne yentoatoa yenkambom yenfrefre dom na yenwene Ghana ho yetoso mi enu susu no I say political season start here so parties manifesto promises promise no so what was a plan bianca ho
okay
so we may keep promise without a planner. How are you going to deliver the promise? And I will train us a buying no you na uba memoir. A fay now promise you know obey a home plan. That time I did what 1 year crack. So that was the second reason. Say Ghana for say they want to move beyond party manifestos and promises to a national plan. Anunti ana make say Mr. T say make a afafanto ho asemi. But the bibia your friend the great transformational plan. Not promises, great transformational plan.
Yeah.
But the aba. Men ko mean to me and share them ka say once a mema kanon ko anu ko an be to aboa.
Right.
Ana eno no but they aba na me say working document. Ya frefre you tell the world kind political parties, business community, TUC for women nyina obi amra. Na yen pense enum ni ehwe say whether we can get consensus. Ye tia adwene ebe kope when krom say our plan when a person you move. So that was the second reason. The third one so they say Nana say nipa be o mabemabo. Say there's no hope. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. And the one of the third reason tell me summit is say your corneas are discussion na nipa who planner a dawa Ghana phone nyina see somewhere be na sa hope na nipa anidaso nipa ehwe no ubetima ka say say we na ebe badia and there's still hope because nipa bia on say what so ulusu hope bibia no ye be da
right
say outsiders wo mo person do sika ba ebe she Ghana ho omutie normal ba bia ye level na kodu na ana kodin sika ko ba bi foforo. But say Otie summit, no, some of the policy solutions are here come once now. No, so no. Still, let's give Ghana another chance. Say we na everybody are, and yeah, let's give her. And also, it was a signaling summit to signal say yes. There's still hope for Ghana.
Now, Otie woman, omo year contributions.
Yes.
A day na a yes strongko, a woman, then an uncle for Taika repetition.
So, the normal can say, let's focus first on the economy. And say, you know, Usha, yen, normal, ye can discuss here, no, the decline, inflation.
Okay.
And solutions are, yen, I can't have boom, said the bear, you bet me the inflation. And then over 40%, first grant 50%, a bit more back single digit. Interest rate, Okobo Busia. Ghana say Busia Okoba interest ne woman. Chazebia Usabu Ukase Utnefia. One Casano, na I say I offer it. And I say, who pretend he say, oh, and more years. So you say, at that rate, Oborono, won't you find you be interest rates so say you was solution a bit for the first time in the history of our country a bit normal interest rate up and down below 10%.
Right.
And na first so no I will say your currency no Krobia no nyina so pa no currency. So currency no e weaker. Bibia no a ye ebe. Nti eno so solutions a ebetumi ama the currency no stabilize no eno so
okay, so you mentioned three things right now. Okay, inflation, movement for change, because you back other ones, but I want the solutions now. Moment they buy. So movement for change on inflation. The solution is
the solution is number one. Usha a quite fast a calculate inflation. I say prices are a cost run.
Right.
Number one, a food inflation. Adriani. I say we calculate inflation. You will be a friend basket of goods.
Yeah.
The normal be a good. Say a good one. You can say. So normal we open so rate prices a cost ra. So normal a do ana do nui. I know na ultimate measure. If you say cake, if you say bayre, if you say body. So no main who carry now who prices no say the cost no say inflation cost. And only the most important indicator for inflation. Now food inflation no say a percent above from now inflation super from number one, we have to increase agricultural production and productivity. If you say agriculture on a small scale,
right?
Now, say, we have to increase the size of our farms. And tonight, say, start to go into commercial agriculture,
right?
Because the economies of scale. Say, and then udo a full 1 acre. The Obenya free mono. O cost no as against obi order 50 acres no. No. A carry need you know on the auto 50 acres on the price of a buffer. I can order a basic standard here. So we have to increase agricultural production. And our first so as I say, you reduce transportation costs.
Okay.
Say Ukwadra Ekoto via a bruise here. If you are one bag, maybe a custom can be 100 cedis. By the time I do a commercial central market, maybe a 500 cedis. Ubisa ayina yebeka cho say transportation costs. E be true, e be so true. But dodo na e be free transportation costs. And it's a one time system a betime reduce transport costs ne logistics costs. Say ye twi aduane afri emfo mu aba and so ntime. Ti no ye the solution is number one. Say one stabilize your currency. Maybe our nature say, crude oil. Say transport, you can't transport cost. A petrol cost here and amebo.
Yeah.
Now petrol cost us the entire map petrol buono cost on say. Currency a weaker. City to dollar and a weaker. Now it's a time we have more cities to be able to get $1. And to be say time we are not just say prices a cost. Now say petrol buo cost definitely country no mabano. Also at the cost.
Right.
And a quiet befast will be stabilize the currency. And no nebema a dianiso a boaba form. No moment you will need to be so with the be a normal so a profiteering. Or more, I will say, are there any chance about? And a true set transport cost. And so I know almost a drum bedroom. Tesanko increasing by 20%. Nothing or the 50%.
Right.
Now, no, the only way I will be to resolve is I want to make as them will be in Dija. But the obetman say, apart from Ubia a Didano, say government so any private sector business people are obe license you or moon a between Adriane a free in Crasano Abba. Now what support to Omo? So or support to Omo. Now so Omo de I say Omoni aban the edgema and yet a buying and a tongue no mano. Lebum Yamau a quenya near Sabuao. So it is every district. You will license private marketing and distribution, food marketing and distribution company. I can tell you, food prices a bit by be a bit by 50%.
Make sure said ya no wato how no transport to make sure
now buying a ton of chair.
Okay.
Also, and that first kuma time ni you know near state food distribution company.
Okay.
Now it's about no who say prices, food prices cost no. Also ono abeti marketing company. No no abai na akwa koto di ane no. No di abase de be tam be ebu no beba form. But abai would who right adwuma no sana. Na afei wo mo ye adwuma of food distribution na afei wo mo aso.
So what happens to the buffer stock under your government?
Anu so ni na make no. Buffer stock, I buying and managing. It's not going to, and sustainable.
Buffer stock,
no. Understand? The concept is good, but once I hear government, now once they say buffer stock, no who,
yeah.
Once a Bianocrano,
Omodicam,
and he said, no, the other end say private company, say, yeah, another John Tracy, or say, you know, a buying and who say, a group of Biana, a bro, a boo. One baby a boo, and tea a busana. Young pet coin beer, a bet me a stock of Norman. So, not a drew baby a lease and year releasing cacracra, and a buffer stock way. But I buy a juma dear. Say, what cast a wood year business are? And ye, na member cat from Coma time, and you say, and ye. But and not just a concept and ye. Name Nana Jantua. So Nanya Brisa obey side Jumana Bauer stock now. Was certain a company na pa. Bomodia pep busia emano. Na ono no phantom no one find yet private license buffer stock companies. And no a different for Omuswa or mono between a license. To both say be a district and now zone biano. You will be a license no. And to be a Jane a free bano. You will say a private person on the chiaba. And he said, be a you who to blame.
Okay.
Oh, I number one, now faces soon. Say, Washa, now acquired to say interest rate. See, I can't say food inflation. No, ma'am. Oh, yeah, queer. Now, Kobo Bosia 35%. Nana, come bien wa. Ubet Maka say, Ubet Mayama, a Biani Buabafum.
Right.
Yeah, calculation. Say, Uber Busia more than 9% for farming, agriculture. Uber ya, will say, Uber will say,
a bro 9%.
A bro 9%. Oh, so on some million make say, ye not one more, a wouldn't dear, not one moon, son, no man to calculate.
Sign him the phony movement for change.
Movement for change. You said that to me, I should share nipa from, and yet send a movement for change in it. I say, my young fine, yes, say, a MPP and NDC and Nano, we will grow your politics, but not over signing the again.
Right.
Nipa do one and a hedge man. But then I make Kakusia say, see it me, sir, no man making now. Won't say food inflation. A year, do I know about from pay inflation, a beba from. And normal be brave.
And she now with Mpacho Mini Chief Alan Kwadwo Kyeremanteng, leader and founder, Movement for Change, presidential aspirant 2024. And and Komokai say National Economic Summit. We share Ghana for many abre pese Ghana sesa. Now we nye party asem no kushia mu won kran. E fa adwene keka nyoma bo mu obi a kire na adwen na otie no nso ye pese ebusa specifics kwan a based on the otie no ebetimi abo because nano era kofos Ghana is at the crossroad era Alan nso ka crossroad na bia because so be at me medium abre politics and na movement in it say there are differences. One of the key things nyoma boa ekostro what church the kwan befa so now is about interest rate. The boarding papa. The boarding chief.
Now, no, dear. The boarding. When we are a Nippon Vicasa, almost you just and the young who she make economist. It is a defeatist way of explaining ourselves. Say any say no, but say Argentina any say Emma from. I just want him say Oma a train or even ECOWAS I say West Africa I say. What are interest rates? Interest rates a bit there 8%. ebi deɛ 6%, ebi deɛ 10%, akɔsoro 12%. Yɛn nyinaa wɔ ECOWAS o. Na wo ɛbɛyɛ dan na sɛ wowɔ Ghana. Now you're a manufacturer, will be borrow at 6%, 7%. You are borrowing at 35%. I better than what you mean now compete. It hasn't just said, yeah, can I say your interest rates are back for more. And specifically, no, yeah, I can say interest rates be back for more. Number one, Bank of Ghana, will be almost friend inflation targeting. The almost say policy on Bank of Ghana now will rate be a woman asset.
Yeah.
Almost set this rate now. Now another bank phone and say omujina so almost so a day of interest rate.
Yeah.
Say I'm said the last time the policy rate no cry do be
20 plus. 20. 20
plus.
We'll confirm it. Eugene, get me the policy rate of Bank of Ghana right now. Yeah.
So now it is a policy rate here 25% and not 23%. Banks no and no more use as base. And it is or the big one a friend 10 percentage points come one say 25 then we 35. And you know the bank be no lending below the Bank of Ghana policy rate. Say on the mention. Now I don't think you can say I didn't think Bank of Ghana ain't me and reduce policy rate, and so would use policy rate now. I say interest rate is so a buffer. Now, the Anna or more can say, Sika won't crow for him. Now, if I say ye increase a rate, said ye a be more up, just say, yes, Anna, Sika won't crow for him. Woman got share a government instrument. Now, yes, I pay. Now, I just say. Sikano I was circulation a reduce a reducer and a banks it doesn't work that way. Say approach in the mature economies and no omu use but I know a different type of economy.
Okay.
So inflation target in mature economies and no a work here is for a different but the entire interest rates a cost no back any there. Making. Say Bank of Ghana reduce policy rate no bar from our interest rates to be buffer. Number two, government borrowing from the banks. I will say I say you busia bank no. Now government is also any
okay, I'm getting it. 29.
It is almost getting to 30%.
Wow. Current monetary policy rate, 29%.
Current Bank of Ghana rate, woman, akase, and only ceiling, and now floor, 29%.
Wow.
And it's a commercial bank or no certain rate. So one found to Sukra,
30, 40, who know.
Yeah, so,
wow.
And until the kind cast, I said it must come down. I'm up for there, and the interest rates always go up. Also, now make castle as it should be say commercial banks, they say almost tonsika. Bank a human is all tonsika. And it is a government. So once she said the normal ye, not time biano. I say, oh, yeska, because just say, I say, o peso ye bibia na o de bia o tun se oni revenue o de hyehyɛ no noma tini de ha ne se o me kɔbɔ bosia nti yɛn pa bosia free bank no na government so pa bosia free bank nti the appetite of government to borrow no na ɛno no na ma banks no so yɛ se ora na se wo come to now pace who purpose your government no catch them more. San you just say rate be at mama biano, where they ubetia, and ameboa.
Yeah.
And now it's a government borrowing, a ma time biano, not interest rates, echo.
Wow.
Say, omu government yin who free borrowing from the banks are. Sikano a bank no, they have no choice but to give it to
opposition will borrow in air day movement for change as a leader. Opposition will buy air bobbisia any day.
I buying busian the amount of buying busian is so if you don't collect we need revenue base a year stronger. Now at the same time, so I say we are developmental. Now say you have no choice but to borrow to finance your expenditure. Basically, that is well. And the solution, movement for change, the idea to a month for anyone on my principal mind is government must optimize its revenue. So ube to me enya more revenue. And no na ube use at the aye abanye juma. And no, you don't borrow to finance expenditure. You use your revenue to finance your expenditure.
Is that revenue in
revenue sooner? Government won't share quite me and increasing the revenue. No, at the finance or
right.
Rather than so, very simple. Number one, your tax system, no, yes, your sinitrasi. Ghana, your tax system, so a revenue, no, taxes not a deba. Now, where you say a tax on your sinitrasi, it's not a question of say, oh, and then you levy, your babas and this is about in the first place.
You levy no.
Because just our taxes in emission levy, it should not have been introduced in the first place. If you say, Uko economies are omujina munaswa. Omo revenue no do na every the friend direct taxes.
Okay.
And not from indirect tax. Indirect tax ni duties ni taxes ni levies are o import no ma yeje. Now say Ghana for no say o hwa tambia no ye hu say wo duty every report o je and dey easy. Nipa no o ye dey import and dey obetua ansa no yi no ma. Enti am attention nyina kwa kosi indirect taxes so. And we are so no ma businessmen no more bre.
Okay.
Now say businessman no tax no na o kra no na o tax na o de be adwuma na o tax na. Say adwuma no ono no on transfer so oboka. Eto no so e de bi beto so na o de aye adwuma. But na adwuma no so enkoye because we increase wo so cost e bedu ba bia nto no ma.
Right.
And ya nto no ma no so na say ultimate create employment. And unti say no there is a Ghana for any say instead of relying on indirect taxes na duties charge port na na ma reduce taxes no completely. So what I say because a completely and say zero but when from pa na businesses no intimate survival.
Okay.
So businesses need to survival omo betia tax no na say ono no won say na dwuma egu uso awosa tax no ka so dia ana kwan bia obefa so ono so no ne ho ba ha no ono so be so what I say enti wutimi blame no ana afa so no say wo hwa say e ba from duties ne ba from a afa o madwuma ne be koso o madwuma koso a they will employ more people. Omo employ more people a nipa dodo na enya adwuma omo so tua pay omo tua income tax. Sana bebia amman bia omo economic cost bia and only the HSF more from direct taxes than indirect taxes. And we've gotten the whole picture no cry no HSF democracy etima trasa for all these years. Na yen who say this is the way out.
In the international economic summit addresses some of these.
Addresses and we can no need solutions no. Out of the yenya 152 policy solutions.
Hey.
Yes, yes, Ghana for say, let us take these things very seriously.
Chief, I have no problem no and yet to say yeah can because you nim the SC na nubi and in the can. Intina Edru baby acquire to say chief for car. Ocean demeanor. He means well.
Yeah.
But Udi 2 many manner nothing such a yaba. I'm sure say no na Ghana for say baby drew na crossroads na okano. According to chief asema okay then ke to asumu because we are my brain PP, my brain DC. Enti yenhwe third force to be. Third force no so be boya ma Ghana yetimi akọ enim. The chief so kan e good. But akonya no tena so ana asesa.
Oh, David Bache, echem ka say.
Bibi wo so ana.
Na make say let us not focus on manifesto promises. That is the problem because so manifesto promise we catch yourself. I will reduce taxes. That's a manifesto promise. A plan will say this is the way I will reduce
the
taxes. That's the difference. Say obi because of a manifesto promise. Or no be catch yourself. I will reduce taxes. It's a manifesto promise. Planner or the reduce taxes one can. Also tia na yo de. Now, so also very register now. Okay, then the Afafanto can say, go beyond the promise and give us a plan. Plan now would be reduce taxes. No, stating you who says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now say, me catch us a plan. The reduce taxes and you da. And now we just say embemwa. And then now who to challenge me. Now say a promise guys I reduce taxes there.
But they all cannot.
And when I make a search, I'm making oh you said will be some here about you also make sure how to reduce interest rates. Bank of Ghana the policy rate and now what we are 29%.
Wow.
Now the bank no charge
because people say arrested or count 42 or kojibu say you didn't call 42%.
So it shows you and Ukraine say we cry mama you. The policy rate must come down. And I also make can be say government must stop borrowing from the banks, because they say how many banks a jack up interest rate, because treasury bill also government or borrow from through via treasury bills any bonds.
Yeah.
And when say treasury bill rate, say a cost bank be anywhere or mount a bushia below the treasury bill rate. Treasury bills and now are buying at the borrow. So now it is a treasury bill rate, 30
is a 26%.
Yes. So a buying the appetite for borrowing, through treasury bills and bonds and higher. Not at a bank, or no, so this can be my Nana Jantua, acquire business, What the moment buying a treasury bill,
because what the other,
what the other. Now I say a crowd, I say ye more free. System.
Oh, the own pennies.
No, say, or no bet me at all. A bank, bet me invest in government treasury bills at 35% at risk be anymore. Not 26% risk be anymore. So, who quack risk woman? And then I say one farmer and is a 35%. And a treasury bill, a government appetite for borrowing. Apart from Bank of Ghana policy now, from government must stop this. I say free. One
of the critical things I'm a bit impressed in you. So first of all, who believe we say yente tuone so companies no so omo be hin
yes
na de omatimi aye adwuma ni ya increase enu mu saa na omo employ na ebenya sika no every month so obi etu akra enye problem which is practical
but practical and apart from that no so on say Ghana the economy no ni omo eye business do informal I say from sole proprietorship. So I say, I don't think will be a person sole proprietorship. 90% will be a informal sector. If you say, oh, open one summer, acquire a limited liability company, no acquire lawyer Bajiniska, a accountant Bajiniska, a face to yes, a pet now, Ben was said, acquire Wabemu, not your Kohano, not the taxes, any idea. So on the major. Until Yamianimni. Nipadona so any business kitu bia on corporate no so akoye company chinchin bia na akotua tax akese yes o mo pese ko mo register company no o mo nyan kombe but so be register na taxes yi e be menene de eno ko be no ja na mom se aban tete tax no so na se wo ye small business bia so wo be nya nka wo be ka so we de be ani amisum ko register business if it's a taxes no kra na enya de ehu bia if so ni so ko register the business a oko banka obetuma nya bosia o pe bibia e be easy say what you say the only way to formalize the informal sector no is for taxes to come down to encourage macro business so business no so
chief and yet so wo kasa yen to aba mountain na wo kasa because obi akasa me ba mete so Newton tax dien kan enye because obese tomorrow no ave ye tomorrow we nebuza say chief na so kan so we de mesrem ana eja onim problem na enti mu de munya ne sa na no president covid-19 atwem so still say yesrem a monje na je ana oji nti enye te say chief we pese yen to aba ma na enti na wo kan do normal political de ave ye kotoma movement for change we are chief focus better so say there be me anam kan so mo me enye sa
there be so say there's a difference between manifesto promises and a plan. Me say let's forget about political party manifestos
and do a plan.
A plan no na say ya dia to a ya chire mu 152 policy solutions. Once me no can a bank once much specifically what is going to be done. Man be jiran ka say interest rate better so much so nyina. The other one about interest rates above zero. I said government reduce taxes on banks.
Okay.
And no more services. So what I say because our government what taxing no there a bank so no so the better so. No they increasing interest rates. Me the say you must specific solutions and not just the promise keke.
Okay. E-levy no betwem.
I know betwem just say I no crowd in the first place this and kaiba. And the idea you see you free immediately there was no point in introducing it in the first place because they are making say if the government has the right tax regime and I know crown and in the first place they buy and say I quite to say a buying intimate a more structured way of collecting revenue. And I say quite be a buffer so I bet me I did to be a net as I'm the wrong way to develop a tax structure.
And the emission tax in
the first place. And I may more a so crown. I say all these things you're trying never not acquire controversial, not government withdraw. Me what a bemono make I say a bind ye. And this would jiji normal to who said may way, mina may be see hospital, mina be see in. Say private sector no the right incentives are. One more in baby Kakobo Busia Diaba on the Bayajman. If you want him say Obeyman will between your profit. Why not? Obokakoye.
Right.
So what you say? A bank so they wouldn't even the capacity to manage and can't be said.
Our cabinet.
Oh, your policy are media better that me wine. None of the say a percent private sector. And a year in Juma are buying yes, say now. The business environment regulations in the idea. Ye Emma emu engo said the bear business for no almost so a bit me abobusia idea sa nduma na eno no na mede BBFM business regulatory reform. Now one of the pillars of SAR reform no say ministry ana department ana agency bi anu a obetimi aye law affecting the business community and say ode koto portal bi so business regulatory portal bi na amansan a Ghana phone nyina ehu de ebebo when aye in the draft form yes why we no na ode beto na ntokwa beba ho demom say idea opese ode ba say the bianca emissions levy any idea now put it for public scrutiny first. So what I say
for two near
for na nipa emma wo views on it and sana say ubetimi akaria hu say ade impact say meya ebenyani nipa dodo na bia Ghana for a comment on it 80% say ade ne yempe so ti ase enu nti sa na me de buy no portam de buy na say obi a wodi a new levy and regulation bia beba no say we subject to public scrutiny and sana yes say the beba wie na fe we are now say me.
Okay, so I think Minya signal said we have 10 minutes, so let me ask, what would Alan Kyeremanteng meaning so aboboswa between John Mahama and Dr. Baumi, obi aka ne de, ebi aka 24 economy, we nzo ka digitalization. Na but wadaruma na no de no utie uni akoto ade no.
Emo de.
Baumi ade no utie kakra.
Na me another event bi nti ebonsa ho.
Awa ebi antwa wasum se wo se oba de wo kasa obi yi afiri ho. Mo to man obi yi ni nyina afiri ho. Oba bibi foforo.
Tell na make say between vice president and a former president enemy just any pamienza so be obi aka ne dia anamebwa na Ghana for do about one see enya bibia e begina so nipa miense obi aka ne dia no dia ne e begina so normal mienu e see egina so they kind the vision of the candidates, you know. You probably answer when it's a deal who anything. Say, former President Mahama, or no, or say 24-hour economy. I think we'll be churching with dear a beya, a bema 24-hour economy of them. Dr. Bumia, your man, a chance or any lecture, or say digitization, and I'm a one.
Yeah.
May dear, may see. Me the normal enum and a bigina so. And ya back on your 24-hour economy and digitization.
Yeah.
The other kind, you see, Cassam, quite a fast way, you be saying. That's the macroeconomy, number one. What won't be a new candidates being what is Obika economy once?
David.
What is Obika? Now, how can you become president? Won't me Emma say, won't me my major policy statement be on inflation? On debt interest rates in the idea. How do people judge you?
Your mama saw 24 economy.
No, but no, and I make us know what's the plan behind that promise?
Okay.
And then I make maybe the maximum inflation. Beba say this is the way you pay no interest rates. Beba from below 10%. This is the way you pay no inflation. Say agree. New agricultural revolution. Say you move from small scale to large commercial plantations. You buy agro parks. I say you be a GB 30,000 acres. You buy your private sector na buy epium. Eti machurches and no tourism. You buy you na machurch remove. You dear ko ama your friend saying.
Economic
some obi ahia bi obi atimi akana dwene a say yakeka normal esiani enti se wo hwa mekan maka economy maka industrialization maka agriculture and maka tourism and maka corruption enti wo hwa 5 main pillars are compared to say obi am say digitization me main you know so I say 24-hour economy and look at no obechirechim say and the difference you know clear if you are talking about the vision and no
okay
and the second thing so any records
okay
so I say a vision I know record because vision no be na o say but there na why before e be manipa gina so aka say ye de too many mahwa with my ABCD. And you compare Yami and Sanya records, both in government and outside government.
Okay. So
as I say, in government, Obian Canada, maybe I'm proud of my record. If you say, my ambassador or US, say, what now, major decisions back for time from the beginning of the presidency. If we do na as ambassador, na me very much involved. Vaco, yeah, Ghana, it's a car vaco, negotiations. Me, I was at the center of it. oil and gas here eba nyina na saa na me ambassador negotiations na nyina no so na bidimu akotin Millennium Challenge account MCA at that time me nyina I was the first person to develop a database. I just said Ghana for war amanoni nyina no between a database I just say yetimi capture omuna
right
say Ghana ni we I say oye adwuma ha ye betimi use no one say nyina
the records are there
but me back Ghana no so no be free America ba Ghana Minister for Trade and Industry and also so Presidential Special Initiative PSIs adwuma me ye wo PSIs no kwa se fofia ntoata ye MPP antra senka ye tramwa enka oil palm adwuma me de buy oil palm kwa kai to have transform Ghana say ana enu no achi say me Friday where na wa she bia ho ayefe entade a ntoma ntade a ye pam ni ade nyina won say nyina no for time me na me dey say no man nyina e buy enu achi MPP President Kwadwo Kyeremanteng so we buy one district one factory the most revolutionary industrial program in the whole of Africa. One with the mention. The ban what is Africa? A buy be etimi in a short period of 3 to 4 years. What me support to private sector? I may see almost 300 factories. It is here. So that's Banya nunkum African Continental Free Trade Area and then Ghana no right from the beginning. No. Main activity African Continental Free Trade Area, the biggest project in Africa. And I'm also leading campaign and my headquarters and also so a buy. Also, do baby, support some leakages in it. Also, because I made the Unipass new EBA. I'm a for propaganda and when we propaganda about it. Now finally, sa Unipass ICOMS new system na the airport buy within the first 3 months, yenya 1 billion cedis more than
the namunya.
Within 3 months, and no negative campaign program. And it is the most important revenue enhancement program.
Right.
Jerry crap for
Mammy specific questions, Chief. Yeah. Now you're finished. I can't about 4 minutes.
Okay.
Only na Kwadwo you free.
Me then free na we be say mu ya.
Mukasa yache. Oh, I'm kasa. To be a one of Chief Net say.
And I'm sorry, say be so sorry say. Yeah, that's a problem. Oh, that's a kasa ache but yes, I kasa ache.
Minister cabinet and bibia na was mo kabat. Hasn't been a time maybe a mushi and you may be hona to say okay one prince or ultimate with them in prince. Oh, when you're behind him say in government, you know, maybe me come again. I was one of the oh yeah, diplomatic too.
Oh no.
Chief as a chief and say bibia now on canasa we Janice yes on kasa. People don't know me no bia a negative campaign be been 2 years old. No, but me I'm a principled person. Okay.
So bia or bet me a catch or whether during Kufuor's government or around this government, I was one of the outspoken members of say on matter of principle. Oh, now say ebia menkasaba heart. It is so because chief the oya. Now say I know my opinion and it's all kasaba heart. But I pick my fights. Now I'm a fighter more than anybody that yes, I pick my fights. Yes, that's how I say me. Yes, no kabi but one more work kukudro in politics. How many people now was I could do journey? About one more I just say principled I could do in America.
Minister say now the be ejuma.
They say I've heard oh yeah
Minister say now the ejuma. What do we have for change you know?
Me can't assume so. Masamba be repeating. Masamba be repeating. I was saying. say we don't need more than 30 to 40 ministers. Now, who call Switzerland? Who call Switzerland? Who they say? I'm saying that almost structure no problem. You say more than be about 10, 15 key cabinet ministers. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Now even so, what kind constitution and kasa, cabinet ministers are, and I need to confirm this. 19.
Yeah.
Also, I make a church. I say cabinet ministers are by law. I say government upon 19. And he said, what the other things no come. You don't even need to go beyond 30 in America. Say what I say.
Right.
Not only that. Parliament. Why do we have 275 people in Parliament? For legislative function. Does it have to be based on, say, there were 275 constituencies? And the representation, what parliament is for lawmaking? What is the basis of it? Because, say, Uko, USR. Also, USR is almost like a continent, mini continent. Almost about 435, and I say, USO, parliamentarians, House of Representatives. Now, and Nipa, a small country like ours, 275. And it is not just the ministers, it is also even now interrogating the number of people in Parliament, because cost centers now a building up. Ufa said American, Ufa ministry like Ministry of Energy. Number of agencies.
A womb.
The number of agencies a womb. Boss, TOR, Energy Commission, National Petroleum Authority, Petroleum Commission. Chase, I was saying, one is the size of government. I can maybe can link government. I not me church. Who kind the law of the land? Even cabinet ministers officially 19.
Okay.
It is all the big count. Now, and I just say 50 near year can yes.
Memao 30 seconds we Kasache Ghana for movement for change. Alan Kwadwo Kyeremanteng.
Yeah, Mr. Ghana for and say Kotoba November, December 2024. Ghana is at a crossroads. Say baby a Ghana yedruno. You share a situation in woman. This is the most difficult election. Ghana for face. And we have to make sure say my engineer say ye koyi nipa obedi o man because of party A of party B. Because I know nankia kadia enka MPP ni NDC. Omabu my 32 years. NDC 16 years, MPP 16 years. Omu me enu nyina omu ba wiye no omu de ekọ IMF. Na say no omu keka nyina ne ayade nyina finally no ne kwakra ne say wo wiye no na wo de ekọ IMF. I don't think say ya na another chance. Na baby a ye dro no ese ye kọ anima. Let us try a new model. Yen try system fofo. Nyenja NDC MPP ade ye kan. Nyen try system na system fofo e betra no. Yenyi obia onu no betimi aka Ghana fo nyina bom. Said ye be ya we can work together as a country. You don't put people into politics to come and secure political parties. Our responsibility is to secure the good of the nation, and not political parties. Now, we share amamaya akosu nyina now. Individuals and making those nations great, and not political parties. Other Singapore, say Liu Kuan Yew, it's not a party; it's about an individual.
All right.
We call China. China became the most powerful country just over 30 years. And also, it was not about the Communist Party, it was about one individual, Dan Jean-Pierre. So, what I say, Kwame Nkrumah time, it was not about the CPP, it was about Kwame Nkrumah. In TCC, and another opportunity, ex-former President Mahama, ballot paper, so. Baumia, ballot paper, so. Alan Kyeremanteng, Nhyira say, if we are talking about vision, any recorder, and Madame Mislemo, Monsisem Namunfa Alan.
Chief Alan Kwadwo Kyeremanteng, Opoman's watch out.
Hey, Opoman's
watch out, and the Busan for the door now, so yeah, that's in so. Say, when your breast also bah, because open. So, Nhyira. I'm saying, now, O President, now, and I'm so, she said, was so my vice president, many Juma was here, but Chief Nhyira, Ghana for, I'm sure, so met you. So, whatever it is, I will wish you well. Chief Alan Kwadwo Kyeremanteng, leader, founder, Movement for Change, presidential aspirant 2024, and now turning Canada. Maybe this year.